In today's tutorial, I'll be showing you how to crochet this simple mesh top. This top is beginner friendly and easy to make, and I'll be explaining slowly step by step on how you're going to construct this, and I'll be also providing the measurement you're going to require so that you can make this in different sizes. If you're new to my channel, remember to subscribe. So thank you so much, and let's get into the materials you're going to use for this tutorial. For this project, I'll be using this yellow yarn. This is a recycled yarn from a thrifted sweater. I used about 150 grams of this, and this yarn is a lightweight yarn. So if you want to use a different yarn, please make sure it's lightweight, or you can substitute it with a fingering weight yarn but use one strand. For the hook, I used a 3.5mm crochet hook. A tape measure is a must, pair of scissors, some stitch markers, and then a darning needle. So to construct this top, these are the measurements you're going to require. So you're going to require your shoulder to shoulder measurement plus 6 inches, your shoulder to slightly underbust measurement, and then half of your underbust measurement. So for my measurement, this is what I have. My shoulder to shoulder measurement is 19 plus 6, I get 25 inches. And then the length of the top from the shoulder to slightly underbust, I have 10 inches. And then my underbust measurement is 30. When I divide by 2, I get 15, which is half of my underbust measurement. So you're going to take your measurement and then note it down. So one thing you should note is that this top is constructed in 2 identical panels. So this is the view of each panel. Each panel should look like this. So we have the upper bust and then we have the underbust. And I'll be showing you step by step on how you're going to achieve each part and how you're going to join this top to form the kind of top that we are working towards. So stay with me and I'm going to show you how we are going to work this top. We are going to start with our upper bust, and to begin we are going to start by making a slip knot. So make it in any way you prefer, and once you're done, for our foundation chain we are going to chain an even number of chains, that is a multiple of 2, and then we are going to add 4 more chains, and that should be long enough to cover your shoulder to shoulder measurement plus 6 inches. For me, I chained 140 plus 4, which is equivalent to 25 inches long. So chain, I meet you back in once you have the number of chains that you're working for your size. So I have a total of 144 chains, and this is a multiple of 2 plus 4, and this is equivalent to 25 inches long. This is my shoulder to shoulder measurement plus 6 inches. Hope you have the same thing as mine, and then let's move to row 1. To begin row 1, I normally work into the back bumps, these chains that are running along at the back. Okay, so you're turning your chain towards the back, and then you're going to see the chain that is running along at the back. That's where I'll be working. So to begin row 1, we are going to skip 5 chains. So you're going to count 5 chains. I remember the loop on your hook does not count as a chain. So you're going to count 5 chains, and then into our 6th chain, we are going to place a double crochet. To do a double crochet yarn over, insert your hook into the chain, yarn over, pull up a loop. You have a total of 3 loops on your hook, then yarn over and pull through 2, then yarn over and pull through the remaining 2, and that's how you do a double crochet. And then you're going to chain 1, skip 1 chain, and then into the next chain you're going to place a double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook into the chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, then yarn over and pull through the remaining 2. Once you're done, you're going to chain 1, then skip 1 chain, Then double crochet into the next chain. Chain 1, skip 1 chain, then double crochet into the next chain. And then you're going to keep repeating this pattern of chaining 1, skipping 1 chain, then placing a double crochet into the next chain. And I meet you at the end of the row to show you what you're going to do next. At the end of the row, you're going to chain 1, skip 1 chain, then double crochet into your last stitch. And like that, you're done with row 1, and this is how it looks like. To begin row 2, we are going to start by chaining 4. Then turn our work. This chain 4 counts as a double crochet and a chain 1 stitch. And then you're going to skip this chain space, then double crochet into the double crochet stitch. Then chain 1. Skip the chain space and double crochet into the double crochet stitch. Chain 1. Double crochet into the double crochet stitch. And then you're going to keep repeating this pattern of chaining 1, then placing a double crochet into the double crochet stitch. I meet you at the end to show you what you're going to do. Once you reach the end, you're going to chain 1, and then you're going to skip 1 chain, and then into the second chain, you're going to place a double crochet. And like that, we're done with row 2, and this is how it looks like. And to begin row 3, we're going to start by chaining 4. Then turn your work. This chain 4 counts as a double crochet and a chain 1. And then you're going to skip this chain space, and then you're going to place a double crochet into the double crochet stitch. Then chain 1, double crochet into the double crochet stitch, chain 1, double crochet into the double crochet stitch, and then you're going to keep repeating this mesh pattern of chaining 1, then placing a double crochet into the double crochet stitch until you reach the end. I meet you to show you what you're going to do next. Once you are at the end, so what you're going to do is you're going to chain 1, then you're going to skip 1 chain, and then into the second chain you're going to place a double crochet. I'm done working on row 3, and this is how it looks like. So what we are going to do next is we are going to keep repeating row 3. For me, I'll be repeating row 3 until I reach row 24, and that is equivalent to 10 inches long. After some time, I have a total of 24 rows for my upper bust. For bigger sizes, please add more rows. For this one, it measures 10 inches long. And like that, I'm done working on my upper bust. So we are going to move to our underbust. So once you're done working on our upper bust, next you're going to work on our underbust. And to get our underbust measurement, you're going to take your shoulder to shoulder measurement plus 6 inches. Mine was 25. And then you're going to subtract half of your underbust measurement. Mine was 15 inches. So you're going to take 25 minus 15 inches to get 10 inches. Once you have 10 inches, One thing you should note is that we are supposed to skip the same number of inches from both sides. So you're going to take that 10 inches, divide by 2 to get 5 inches. And then we are going to skip 5 inches from both sides, then place a stitch marker on each side. Okay, that will give us the area of our underbust that you're going to work on. Okay, so you're going to use the same formula that I used, and then you're going to skip the number of inches that you get from both sides, then place a stitch marker to give you the area that you're going to work on your underbust. So this is what I'm talking about. For me, I'm going to take the tape measure, and then I'm going to measure 5 inches from one side, and then I'm going to count the number of chain spaces, and then I'm going to place a stitch marker into the double crochet stitch that is next to my last chain space. I skipped 16 chain spaces, and then I'm going to skip the same number of chain spaces on the other part. And then you're going to place a stitch marker into the double crochet that is next to the last chain space. So for me, I skipped 16 chain spaces from both sides. Okay, and then this is where I be working my underbust. So you're going to work your underbust in between those stitch markers. So do the same, and then we are going to start working on our underbust. To begin row 1 of our underbust, you're going to grab your yarn, and then you're going to attach it where the stitch marker is. You can tie a knot to fasten it. And then to begin, we are going to start by chaining 4. This chain 4 counts as a double crochet and a chain 1. Okay, so we are going to skip this chain space, and then we're going to place a double crochet into the double crochet stitch. Then chain 1, then double crochet into the double crochet stitch, then chain 1, double crochet into the double crochet stitch, and then you are going to keep repeating this pattern until you reach the stitch marker. At the end, you're going to chain 1, and then you're going to place a double crochet into the double crochet stitch where there's the stitch marker. And like that, we are done with row 1 of the underbust, and this is how it looks like. Next, to begin row 2, we are going to start by chaining 4, then turn your work. And remember, this chain 4 counts as a double crochet and a chain 1. And then you're going to place a double crochet into the double crochet stitch, chain 1, then double crochet into the double crochet stitch, then chain 1, double crochet into the double crochet stitch, and then you're going to keep repeating this pattern until the end of the row. Once you reach the end, you're going to chain 1, then skip 1 chain, then double crochet into our second chain. And like that, we are done with row 2 of our underbust, and this is how it looks like. So what you're going to do is you're going to keep repeating row 2. For me, I'm going to repeat this row until I have a total of 11 rows for my underbust, and this is equivalent to 4 inches. Add more rows if you want something longer, and reduce the number of rows if you want something cropped. So after some time, I have 11 rows for my underbust, and as I said, this is equivalent to 4 inches, and you can add more rows for longer version or reduce the number of rows if you want a cropped one. And like that, we're done working on our first panel. So what you're going to do is you're going to repeat the same pattern that we used to make this first panel to make another identical panel. So for me, I have another identical panel here. So I have two identical panels, and make sure you have the same thing. Make sure your panels are identical, and then we are going to move to the next step. Step 3, we are going to join these two panels to form the top, and we are going to start joining at the neckline before we move to other sides. So the type of neckline you're working with will determine the number of chain spaces you're going to skip from both sides. If you want an off-shoulder top, you're going to skip less chain spaces from each side, and if you want a normal neckline like mine, you're going to skip at least more chain spaces from each side. So for me, I be skipping 20 chain spaces from each side, and make sure you have the same chain spaces for both panels. Okay, you're going to count the first one and then count the same chain spaces for the second panel, then place a stitch marker. So once you have the same chain spaces for both panels, one thing I forgot to mention, make sure the right sides are facing each other, okay, and the wrong side is facing up, okay. So make sure the number of chain spaces you skip on both sides are equal, okay. So if you skip 20 on the other side, make sure you skip 20 on this other side. So once we are done identifying where our neckline will be and place stitch markers on the areas where we are going to join, so let's move to the actual joining. So to begin, we are going to make a slip knot, and then we are going to attach this yarn into the double crochet stitch where there's a stitch marker, and make sure you're going through the double crochets of both panels and then do a single crochet. Remember to carry along your tail of yarn, okay. And once you're done, next you're going to place one single crochet into the chain one space, and make sure you go through both panels, okay. Then one single crochet into the double crochet stitch, then one single crochet into the chain one space, and then you're going to keep repeating this until you reach the end, and make sure you go through both panels. Once you reach the end, you're going to place two single crochets into that chain one space, and then the double crochet of the second panel, then chain one, leave some tail of yarn that can be weaved in, then cut off the rest of the yarn. And like that, we're done joining one side of the neckline, and this is how it looks like. So what you're going to do next is you're going to repeat the same thing you have done on this side on this other side. So repeat that. I meet you back in once you're done. I'm done working on my neckline, and this is how it looks like after joining, and this is how wide I wanted my neckline. And once we're done, next we are going to join the underbust and then our underarm, okay. So we're going to do this on this side and then on this other side. but I'm going to show you on how you're going to do on one side, and then we are going to outline our sleeves on one side, and then you can repeat it on the other side. So let's get into it. So for me, once I was done working on my last panel, I didn't cut off the rest of the yarn, and I'm going to use that yarn for the joining and outlining of the sleeves. So to begin, we are going to skip one chain, then into the second chain you're going to place your hook there, and then you're going to take this loop and then pull it through that chain, then chain one. So what you're going to do, into each chain space we are going to place 2 single crochets. So into our first chain space here, we are going to place 2 single crochets, and make sure you're going through both panels. Then you're going to go into the second chain space with 2 single crochets. So make sure your panels are aligned well so that you can be able to go through the same chain space for both panels. So into each chain space, I said you're going to place 2 single crochets, and then you're going to repeat that until you reach the corner or the end of the underbust, and then I'm going to show you what you're going to do next. So I'm done joining on the underbust, and once you reach the corner here, we are going to go into this double crochet stitch, and then you're going to go through the double crochet stitch of the second panel, then finish with a single crochet, and then we're going to work on our underarm. Okay, so turn your top well like this, and then we are going to start working on it. And remember to carry along your tail of yarn. So once you're done working on the double crochet stitch, next you're going to go into the chain one space and make sure you're going through both panels. Then go into the double crochet stitch with 1 single crochet, then followed by 1 single crochet into the chain one space, and then you're going to keep repeating this until you reach the end of our underarm, and I'll meet you back in to show you what you're going to do next. Once you're at the end, so you're going to place 1 single crochet into the chain one space, and then another single crochet into that same chain space, so we are done joining our underbust and our underarm, as you can see in the video, and this is neatly done. So once you're done, next we are going to move to outlining our sleeves. Okay, so to begin, we are going to start by chaining 2, and this chain 2 does not count as a stitch. So for the sleeves, we are going to work on the right side. Okay, so this is the wrong side, and then when you open up like this, this is the right side. So remember, I say this chain 2 does not count as a stitch. So into the chain space here, we are going to place 2 double crochets. So place 2 double crochet into that chain space, and then 2 double crochets into the next chain space, then 2 double crochet into the next chain space, and then you're going to keep placing 2 double crochets into each chain space around until you reach the end. Okay, so do that. I meet you at the last chain space. I'm done working around the sleeve, and remember I was working on the right side, and this is how it looks like. So to finish off this round, we are going to slip stitch into our first double crochet stitch. So you're going to look for the double crochet stitch and then you're going to work a slip stitch on top of that. Tighten the slip stitch, then chain one and cut off the rest of the yarn, leaving some tail that can be weaved in. And like that, we are done outlining one of our sleeves, and this is how it looks like. So we are done working on one side of this top, as you can see here. So we are going to repeat the same thing I've shown to work on this other side. Okay, so repeat the same thing we did on the other side. You join the underbust, then underarm, then outline your sleeves. I meet you back in once I'm done working on mine too. I'm done working on my other part, and this is how it looks like. It's the same thing I did on the previous part. Hope you have the same thing as mine. So once we are done, we're going to move to the next step. Step 4, we are going to weave in our loose ends. So thread your loose end into your darning needle and then observe what I'm doing. So you're going to go through some few stitches like what I'm doing in the video, and once you have enough, you're going to pull your darning needle, but don't pull tight. And once you're done, you're going to skip one stitch and then you're going to go towards the opposite side through some few stitches, and then once you're done, you're going to pull through, but don't pull tight. And then once you're done and satisfied, you're going to cut off the rest of the loose end. And then once you're done, you're going to continue weaving in any loose ends that you have, and then I'm going to meet you back in once you're done. So once you're done weaving in all your loose ends, make sure your top is turned to the right side. So this is how it looks like, and this is how it looks like when it's worn. So thank you so much for crocheting with me today. Hope you enjoyed making this top and you're proud of what you made. I would really love to know, how many tops are you going to make from this tutorial? Which colors are you going to use? And how are you going to style your top? So until next time, remember to stay kind and stay creative.